Super Revolution here, and finally, I can make this video about Extreme Rules 2022. I know it's super late. I have to do a lot of stuff this week, and this is my only trip. But at last, we're here. Extreme Rules 2022. The one night when the one night that everything goes to stream actually has a meaning, since every match has some sort of a stream stipulation, which compared to last year, it wasn't the case. They only had one match on the stream rule stipulation on that show. Goes to show how much a year of difference this could make, and for what it was for the expectation, Extreme Rules was a pretty solid show. Like, it wasn't as really good as the two previous shows, PLEs, as you like to say, Premium Live Events, but for what it was, this was a pretty solid to good show. There was a little mishap, in middle of stuff, but it started strong and it kind of ended, and it pretty much ended strong at the end. So yeah, and we started off with such as a strong match, which was a good old-fashioned Donnybrook six-man tag between the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Rich Holland, and Butch versus Imperial, Luke Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and the Intercontinental Champion Gunther, as it's pronounced. So yeah, and once this is a type of match where you just all let the wrestler beat us and just let them beat the piss out of each other, and that's exactly what they did. This was a fun ass match, a great match to open the show, and yeah, I can't believe this only went like 15 minutes, but they sure made those 15 minutes count and more. The crowd was all into it, even with the tease of a potential third match between Sheamus and Gunther, since they had the previous match at Clash at the Castle, and they had a match on SmackDown the night before this. So when they were about to go face to face, that crowd came unglued, and it wasn't going to be the first time the crowd went unglued. Gonna say that more for the end of the video. Just keep an eye. So yeah, that crowd went nuts for this, and it was great. And the finish was also great, with Sheamus hitting that high cross, a great high cross at that, to Gunther, to the table, then finishing a 1 minute period with a broken to win. Great match, an awesome start. And I feel with the momentum that Sheamus has been, it needs to be him to be the one that defeats Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and most preferably at a Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. I think that's where it's going to have the most meaning behind it. So yeah, and I hope they continue with the momentum that Sheamus is on right now, as he and the Brawling Brutes. This feud has been pretty much one of the best parts about this company right now, and yeah, and it's really made the IC title now feel some level of importance that it hasn't been seen in at least 4 or 5 years. That it hasn't been in a long time. So yeah, So really great match. Awesome start to the show. Next match, the SmackDown Women's Championship. You got Liv Morgan defending against Ronda Rousey. Ah, oh boy. What can I say? Like when they did their extreme stuff with the weapons and stuff, that part looked cool. Some of it. But when they not did that, they just did some, you can tell, sloppy spots in that match. Like, it was noticeable how kind of boshy the match kind of was. It it wasn't as nearly as like a dud like the SummerSlam of that match was just pitiful. This match was okay. It was average at best. So like you can tell it's a case of their styles being clouds don't really match. Like it's like complete clash of style between both women. Like most of Liv Morgan's wrestling style doesn't really click with Ronda's wrestling style, and Ronda's wrestling style doesn't click with Liv Morgan's wrestling style either. So yeah, it's a clash of it, and it makes it for being a art girl looking kind of match. And I didn't hate it, but like it wasn't particularly all that great. Certainly, certainly wasn't great. It wasn't particularly all that good. So yeah, I mean the field was kind of intriguing with Wanda putting the armbar on Liv Morgan passing up, but sort of had the demonic smile on her face. And yeah, like the booking here, I kind of understand as Liv Morgan wasn't really hitting all cylinders with that SmackDown Women's style reign. And I think if the previous regime had stuck around, Liv Morgan would have been champion for most of it. I'm so like, 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 the only, I think the new regime kind of likes her, so that's why she kind of held the title for a bit longer than I, I guess just a cup of coffee. But like, yeah, she wasn't hitting all cylinders with the SmackDown style. So yeah, so hopefully now that she lost, she can rebuild her character. That seems that that's going to be like the vision for her character, going more psychotic like character for her, which should be fun. And Ronda Rousey being a heel, like at least should be something. As I think she's going to be that champion for that SmackDown Women's Division coming into WrestleMania next year. So yeah, just really wasn't all that good of a match. It was just meh. Kind of had a similar thing toward the next match. By the way, the SmackDown Women's Championship was an Extreme Rules match. By the way, so just to clarify. And the next match was the strap match between Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre. And yeah, this was, for me, it was kind of the worst match of the night for me. Like again, like the Liv Morgan stuff, Liv Morgan Ronda stuff. It was just meh, and it was it was kind of slow at most of the times. Like, yeah, like they tried, they really tried, but the crowd wasn't really into it, and I think it was just a case of the story not being not click, like not like being all that great, so the match was what it was. So yeah, they tried, but you can tell the crowd was kind of dry for this match a bit. So yeah, and the finish was kind of anticlimactic. This was one genuine thing about this show. A genuine thing I like when Scarlett, I won't say Charlotte for some reason, but Scarlett, who was the manager character, spraying the eyes of Jutsu with just a spray tan, and Karen Cross hit his finish to win the match. It was kind of anticlimactic, I should say, for this match. Like, you would think she would do really something devilish to Drew, but instead just a spray thing, that was it. Yeah, that was kind of flat. And the match wasn't possible, but yeah, it wasn't really particularly good. So yeah. Next, we had the Raw Women's Championship ladder match, but to Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Bayley pinned Bianca at the previous pay-per-view to pretty much her kind of unofficial earn herself title shot as she asked for this match. And this was the ladder match. This is the first time I heard this on Twitter. This was the first time ever that a ladder match consisted of both women 1-on-1. Yes, there were TLC matches, but and even those were like triple threats and even one tag team match for years back. But this one was 1-on-1 ladder match for both women between Bianca Belair and Bayley, and they delivered almost, but in this was pretty much a good if unspectacular match. Wasn't really great, but for what they did a good job with the ladders and stuff. They told a good enough story. I felt kind of bad for both the KODs, but like I didn't like how Bianca just single-handedly beat up Damage Control. Io Sky did call it Candice LeRae at least should have been helped to even the odds a bit. So yeah, Candice LeRae, who now is back with the company, she should have like come in and at least take out one of the members and then do like the KLH, which I felt kind of bad since you can tell Io Sky had to reposition herself and they kind of waited too long and it didn't look good. You can tell. But after that, they did something and it had a good finish with Bianca hitting the KOD on Bayley with the ladder inside of it. That was cool. So yeah, Bianca Belair retains. It was a pretty solid match. Good. And yeah, now this is outside of what happened. Outside what happened at the end of the show, you get my second favorite thing, which was pretty much kind of match that I like. Edge versus Finn Balor in an I-Quit match. So like, Finn Balor's, I really like kind of Finn Balor's new mask and his new entrance thing, kind of favorite whole new heel persona of the Judgment Day. It was pretty cool, and yeah, this match, like, I didn't think it was gonna be really that great. Like, I expect it to be good, but I didn't think it would be that good. I mean, and that in the beginning, I did kind of felt like it was gonna be anything other than just being good, but at least they kept up building it up, and it told a good story where Balor being this villainous hero, and Edge had the never say die attitude babyface type, where he refuses to quit. And at least it built it up to it, and it even had some fun spots in like going into the crowd. It had some spots in there, like it was going good, and then turned once the Judgment Day interfered and handcuffed and Michael could be going ballistic, and hats off to him for another amazing job. Like, out of this new regime, he's really stepping up in the commentary too. He has become tremendous on the commentary system, and once that Judgment Day handcuffed it, we were all knew we were off to the races. With him beating the hell out of Edge with handcuffed the Judgment Day. Even Edge had tried to follow with the spear through Finn Balor, through Judgment Day, through a fanatical, then with a handcuff spot, with him beating down Edge, and then Rey Mysterio coming out, and him tried to intervene Judgment Day, but Dominic beats the shit out of him. Michael go crazy for that also, and then what it looked like Finn Balor was going to win, that while Finn was continuing to beat down Edge, that Venus out of nowhere came in and hit some candlestick to Finn Balor, and then was and tried to hit down for Don intervene, and then Bad Phoenix and Rhea Ripley came in, was about going nose to nose. The crowd were also been ballistic also. You had Dominic begging forgiveness for Edge, and then Edge hitting in the low blow, a receipt for what Dominic did to Edge and Rey, the pay-per-view before Clash of the Castle, and Edge looked like he was about to win the match for himself also, but then when he was about to do the share spot where taking one share and trying to make Finn Balor say I quit, and then what's about to happen, and then what look at what's about to happen. Rhea Ripley comes in, punches back in the hand. We didn't show what she was wearing until it was revealed she had a brass knuckles. And then Finn Balor Judgment take control, and then Finn Balor had not one, not two, but three coup de grace on Edge in a row, and then this Sunday we're gonna make Edge say I quit, and if he didn't say I quit, Rhea Ripley was bringing both shares, and look, I was about to hit a concerto, but Edge to prevent her on horse race, say the word I quit, but Rhea being a great heel, hits her in the head anyway. Like, he told Edge he would if he didn't say I quit, but she's gonna hate her because she can anyways. And the storytelling was off the charts for this. And this was the best way for pretty much a babyface to lose an I Quit match. And they kind of gave it a hint at the Go Home Show wall with that Edge pre-tape promo with him saying there's nothing that they could do to him that could make physically say I quit. And it played into this match with the handcuffs, when Michael goes screaming, just say I quit, people won't think any less of you and your career. Even with that handcuffs, they still, and being that with Candlestick, the Judgment Day, Edge still won't say I quit until Judgment Day per something that he lost the most in harm's way, which was that Phoenix, that Rhea was about to hit a concerto spot, and Edge at that moment say it like it, just to not put her wife in harm's way, but Rhea hit her in a concerto because she couldn't. That was a pretty much one of the brutal concertos that I have ever seen. Like, that looked great, and yeah, it accomplished a lot of things. Like, acceptable way to have the babyface lose in this type of match like that. It put desperately much needed heat on Judgment Day. And it gave some need for Edge to want to get revenge on it. And the whole problem with the feud so far was like, it wasn't really, it was getting stagnant. Like, it was just all Edge being Judgment Day and match, and Judgment Day continued to be out. There wasn't too much progression. Now this has, and yeah, we will see what it goes. they at least had to get one match out of that thing they said Rhea Ripley. Like that crowd erupted when they were about to blow off in the face. And yeah, maybe we'll let the missed tag team match between Edge and Van versus Battle and Rhea. Who knows? But yeah, like this game is some nice use to this Edge and Judgment Day stuff. Like, yeah, it was. I can't say not great things about this icon match. Which kind of started off slow, at least it built up, and by the end, it turned out to be a tremendous great match. Match and I said, well, this had the most time out of this show. And yeah, they could have got at least 5 minutes like the beginning stuff, but like, yeah, like they really made like if you're gonna like go long for this match, then you better make sure that it's match delivered. And it was like at that second half, they pretty fucking delivered that part. So yeah, it was kind of overbooked, but in this one occasion where it actually enhances the match than hindering it. So yeah. Then you get the main event between the 5-pin match between Matt Riddle and Seth freaking Rollins. And we didn't get a reference. Was his reference being here in Philadelphia, an ECW based crowd? Rollins just decided to join it by wearing an RVDS style of attire. That was great. Being that for that type of crowd, that's great. Daniel Cormier, former UFC legend, was the referee for this, and he did fine. Didn't look completely embarrassed or not look like it belonged. And with this being a MMA based case, it kind of fitting for him to be in this match. So yeah, he did okay. He looked fine. He looked like you could tell he was kind of nervous when he in some spot, but yeah, he looked fine. And the match was good, but you can tell like they were running on fumes for this. Like they were rushing get to some spots of this match. And like I said, they could have got at least 5 minutes for the X-Fin Battle Icon match, and could have easily gave 5 more minutes to this match. And they could have also they could have also not do the weird backstage segment between the mascot, the Miz, and Dexter Lumis. That was weird. But for once, the match was good. The thing is, like, it was getting good, and then just kind of over. Like Riddle ran with a triangle hold, a submission hold, the triangle hold, and Rollins just steps out, and that was the end of the match. Like, you can tell that the crowd was just ready for something that I'm going to talk about coming pretty much next after. And the crowd was kind of like, like Riddle won the match like that. So yeah, so Riddle, David Cormier win the match. You thought that was the end, but no, the lights were out. Michael go with a great line saying, "Oh, he's still on air," because he thought logistically, like, Riddle winning the main event, that would be the finish of the show. But it wasn't. The lights went out. And then we get, he's got the whole world in his hands music. And the crowd went ballistic. And then in various different shots, we see the Firefly Funhouse characters pretty much come to life, with Rambling Rabbit playing off of the right rabbit vignettes that were hyped up pretty much in the week heading into this event. We saw Rambling Rabbit We saw Huskus the Pig. We saw Mercy the Buster. You get Abby the Witch. Then you kind of saw like a burn fiend mask with the fiend in the crowd itself. Like it builds up. Then you get a door. Then you get the Firefly Funhouse being basically dead. Like it looked like a haunted house more than anything. Like this had like this was covered in cobwebs. The music being turned up and down. Felt like a kind of a roller coaster sound. And then you get a man in a mask that looked like something from the Black Phone. I heard some of that reference. Then you saw the and said who killed the wolf. You did also playing all the White Rabbit stuff with segments building up. And then you get to the door. It builds up. It opens. Then you saw a man with a lantern with a black foam mask. Takes it off. And it's Bray Wyatt saying, "I'm here." Blows up the lantern. And then you saw a up-down butterfly logo to end the show. Bray fucking Wyatt has returned. And the crowd went unglued again. Like, wow. Like, just a year ago, I made a video about how Bray Wyatt was released and how they pretty much screwed up most of the things during his last run. Then not like anything with the character lost some of this lost in that last match he had with Orton at Mania a year and a half ago was so damaging. I hate everything about it. So yeah, but for this return, the way they did it was just well executed. This was all perfect for me. Like it built up, and what I like about this is Bray return, but we still come more questions than answers. Like, are those characters are gonna be Paul Bray's new fashion? His Twitter handle is called YS6. If you see what it's referenced, so if you Google on his Twitter, it says YS6. So could that be the thing? Like, who knows where this is going? And that's what I like about wrestling sometimes. Is you don't know which way it's going to go. But you should enjoy the ride for what it's worth. And that fucking crowd, when Bray Wyatt unveils his face, my God, like, this will go down. This will go down. Came back as one of the greatest comebacks in the company's history. Like, when you look at it, and I'm not saying this with hyperbole, this was one of the loudest reactions for a return that I ever heard in WWE history. Like, and I can only think with such returns like that. See, Triple H in Madison Square Garden in 2003 when he came back. The music fucking blew for a couple of seconds. Stone Cold Steve Austin at Montreal, Montreal 2003. The Rock, when he came back at Raw before WrestleMania in 2011. Brock Lesnar after WrestleMania 28, 2012. Edge, Royal Rumble 2020 after being away that year. Even not WWE stuff, CM Punk coming back in Chicago the first dance last year. But when you think about all the loudest reaction for the return in WWE history, this joins the list. Like, you can kind of tell with the main event they were kind of ready for this moment to happen since the White Rabbits are really start hitting up in the race leading towards to them thinking it was gonna be him or it's not going to be him, and then revealing it wasn't after all. It was well done, and yeah, and if you're like a huge Bray Wyatt fan, then this will go as one of the greatest finishes of the WWE pay per view ever, and it kind of felt like that. It was like I said, it's one of the greatest comebacks in your company's history. In terms of like one night returns, like for this return, he's instantly made one of the viable players, top players in the company right now. Like, yeah, and the promo on SmackDown he called the week later now or the week after this was well done. Also, like you don't know where it's gonna go with it, and I'm looking for what they do next. They have to. What's going to be crucial to his return to me is mostly the booking, the handling the character, and how they could sustain with that. Since the Fiend's momentum when he came in 2019, he had a hot debut and then fumbled down with just weird stuff and bad booking, and by the end, he was kind of damaged goods. So they have to deliver mostly on this run with Bray, and I hope, and I had a little bit of faith that Triple H with his scripting will deliver with the goods with this Bray Wyatt run this time. They have like a horror Wyatt movie, a long-term creative Wyatt that it's specifically hired for the Bray Wyatt stuff. It should be good. So yeah, this was a return well done, great ending to and highlights a pretty solid night of wrestling booking. Pretty solid show. Again, it wasn't as great as some said or Cassidy but for what it was, it was good. There was some mishaps in between, but it started strong. It definitely ended strong, and this was a pretty good show, I will admit. So yeah.